Good afternoon, Dito. Good afternoon. Yeah, nice. Okay yung glasses, very appropriate for our topic today. Our topic today is about healthy aging with Dr. Joel Lopez, MD.
Healthy.
All right. Thank you. And we're here talking to thank you for Dr. All right, welcome. And if you're watching this in replay or watching this live, please make sure to comment. Welcome to the Tuesdays with Dr. Joel Lopez, MD. So this has been an ongoing series, Dito, and it's exciting actually because I am actually learning a lot about health. And today we're talking about healthy aging. What do you think?
Same here, Anton. So alam mo, do you actually know your biological age? Because our real age, the number of years that we've been living, is not really the same as our biological age. So we're going to be discussing that today, and it's going to be exciting. Yep.
Yeah, I think we're also talking about blue zones, what causes early aging, and how to treat them. And so let's bring forward Dr. Joel Lopez, MD. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon. So we're so excited. I think the Gen X generation is excited for this talk as well, because we want to know not to probably just age well, no, or healthy aging as this topic. All right. All right. Let's start. We'll share the presentation. Healthy aging.
Yeah, so good afternoon, guys. Thanks for joining us today. So our topic for this afternoon would be about healthy aging. But before that, what is aging? So it's been defined by Webster as the progressive deterioration in form and function leading to death, which is quite a morbid description of aging. But anyways, what's more important is a differentiation between your chronological versus your biological age. Your chronological age basically is the number of candles you have on your birthday cake, whereas your biological age is basically how you function at the cellular level. So I've seen a lot of people, a lot of clients, basically a lot of them have older, older biological ages compared to their chronological age. Seldom do I see people with younger biological ages. These are people who are actually more conscious about their health. So there are people who actually specialize in longevity or anti-aging medicine. So it's otherwise called as optimal aging, healthy aging, age management, medicine, or successful aging. So we discuss here more on the quality versus the quantity of life. That's otherwise known as health span versus lifespan. So basically, you want both of them to be okay rather than just focusing on one thing. So you want to have a long lifespan, but you want to be healthy at the same time.
So
Yeah,
Doc, before you go there, yung biological age, is there a computation or is that the one showing in the weighing scale, or how do you get that?
Yeah, there are different ways to measure your biological age. So we do have a machine or a device that we have at our office. It's called a biomed scan. So basically, it will measure different parameters. And from that, we could detect what your biological age is.
Okay.
And there are more complex ways to measure your biological age, but it's not being used in like in the clinic setting. It's more for research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of health span, are we talking about 100 years age? What's our current thinking now that we can extend our life to 100 years old ba? or
Yeah, well, according to the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, um, life extension could be up to 125 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
so there are technologies nowadays that could extend your life to 125 years.
Wow.
However, you want to make sure that you have a good quality of life.
Like during that
So
time.
that's
Okay.
even more important.
All right.
Okay.
All
So
right.
this afternoon we're gonna discuss about blue zones. So these blue zones are basically areas or places in the earth that houses people who live up to or more than 100 years old. So you could see this places in places like Okinawa in Japan,
Mhm.
Icaria in Greece, Sardinia in Italy, Nicoya in Costa Rica, and in Loma Linda in California. So basically, they've done studies on these blue zones or longevity hotspots, and they found some 10 commonalities, including, well, sorry, that's 9. uh,
Okay.
they include the following. So one is moving naturally. Second, knowing your purpose. Third is downshift, which I will explain later. Fourth is the 80% rule. Fifth is the plant slant. Sixth is wine at 5, basically. 7, family first. 8 is a sense of belongingness. And last but not the least is the right tribe.
Okay. Interesting.
So moving naturally. So it's really important for us to be active, to exercise. We don't have to do or we don't have to spend a lot of time in the gym. But what's more important is just having some movement. Because during the process of movement, there's a lot of things that go on, including the production of endorphins or enkephalins. These are natural opioids, which are good for improving anything like pain, or for those who are depressed. It actually helps improve their moods. And also, when you do exercise, you also increase the production of growth hormones, especially the human growth hormone. So when you do that, you basically could improve your body composition and slow down the aging process. So a lot of things happen when you move. Second is the sense of purpose. So the Japanese or the Okinawans per se call it ikigai, and the Nicoyans of Greece call it plan de vida. For
Mhm.
both, it translates to why I wake up in the morning. So it's having a sense of purpose. People who don't have a sense of purpose, people who are hopeless, don't really have a long number of years. So it's really important to have that sense of purpose or hope.
Okay.
Thirdly is downshift. So even people in the blue zones experience stress, and stress leads to chronic inflammation, which is associated with a lot of chronic degenerative diseases. So what the world's longest lived people have that we don't have are routines that shed this stress. So Okinawans take a few moments each day to remember their ancestors. The Adventists in Loma Linda pray. Icarians take a nap in the afternoons, and Sardinians do happy hour. So for
Wow.
most people nowadays, the way they deal with stress is through exercise. Some people do like shopping, which is unhealthy.
Now this
So
is
different people. Yeah, go ahead, please.
yeah, now, this is interesting. Downshift meaning enjoying
Meditation.
life. Oh, bakit downshift, Doc? Meaning anong ibig sabihin? Bakit
Meditation.
Yeah, basically people who are stressed out, they just need to relax. Because people who are stressed out are in sympathetic overdrive. So they're in yang. They're more yang compared to yin, which is more relaxation.
Okay.
So that's what the downshift means.
Okay. So dito downshift Downshift.
Yeah, I know. Meditation, no, doc. Meditation works also, no?
Yeah, meditation, you could do like sitting meditation, or some people do like movement meditation, otherwise known as Tai Chi or Qigong.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
fourth is the 80% rule. The Okinawans call it Hara Hachibu, or it's a Confucian mantra which reminds them to stop eating when their stomachs are 80% full. So
Mm.
that 20% gap between not being hungry and feeling full could be the difference between losing weight or gaining it. So people in the blue zones eat their smallest meal in the late afternoon and or early evening, and they don't eat anymore the rest of the day.
Mm.
Compare this to the sumo wrestlers. They
Okay.
actually only eat once a day, and that's during the evening. And so that's how they gain a lot of weight.
Okay.
They don't eat during the day. They just eat a lot at night. So people who want to be sumo wrestlers, that's what they should do.
Pero Doc, so how would you know you're 80% full?
Yeah, basically, there's this feeling of satiety, like feeling of fullness that
Okay.
people could actually experience. But sometimes we keep on eating because
Eating.
again, there's like maybe there's food left on the plate, and we're trained not to leave anything on our plates.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel a sense of fullness, that means that's the time to stop eating.
Okay. All right.
And then there's the plant slant. So basically, having more of a plant-based diet is really part of what the centenarians do. And for those who eat meat, they really eat it not so often. In the traditional Filipino society, they would actually eat meat only on Sundays. This is like for ages ago. So it's considered as a treat. So, but during the week, it's primarily grains and veggies.
Mm.
So basically, how that's how some of our ancestors were able to reach the age of 90 plus. I remember my grandparents, maternal grandparents. They were, I think, they lived up to their early 90s. So that's how they were brought up. They would eat more on the more of a plant-based diet.
Bakit Doc na beans has a special mention? The beans.
Pardon me, sorry.
Bakit beans? It was specially mentioned.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good source of protein then, because sometimes people think that if they're just eating a plant-based diet, they may not be getting enough protein.
okay.
Doc,
Yeah.
so soy is you mentioned soy. Isn't
Yeah.
soy GMO?
Pardon me?
Isn't
Soy?
soy GMO?
Not
GMO?
all soy, not all soy. But
How do you know?
yeah, it's hard to know, but a lot of like soy grown in the US is GMO. There may be some local ones that are not GMO yet, but right now, unless you read food labels or know about the producer of this soy, then you won't be able to really tell if you're getting GMO or not. So
Doc,
parang you have to be honest na lang.
right. So
Yeah,
mung beans, mungo. How about
yeah,
mungo?
yeah. Those are good too. Mung beans.
Okay.
Okay.
I will.
So the next thing is the use of alcohol, basically in the form of red wine. There's something in alcohol called resveratrol, and this is something that's been used in anti-aging or longevity medical circles to help prolong a person's longevity. So this is common in people who live in the blue zones, except for the Adventists in Loma Linda. But most of them, like the Okinawans, Sardinians, Nicoyans, yeah, they drank more of the wine, like the red wine, because of the
So,
bioflavonoid called resveratrol.
So, okay ang red wine, Doc? Tama
Yeah.
ba? Red or white wine? Or was there a specific ano?
Yeah, red wine primarily because that's where you get most of the bioflavonoid resveratrol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
And
if
then,
you
1 to
don't
2
want,
glasses per day.
yeah, if you don't like drinking wine, then you could actually take resveratrol supplements, and you could actually get that from the health food store.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be an alternative for those of us who are non-wine drinkers.
O, dito, pwede pala ang wine eh.
Oo nga. Or those who have allergies with wine, no, Doc? Because some red wines are, I'm actually allergic to some red wines.
Yeah, it's
Ah,
actually because of the sulfites. These are the preservatives that they use in non-organic wines.
Oo. May
So,
mga organic
ideally-
wines na ngayon eh. Dito. So, in Manila.
Yeah. So ideally, you want to go for organic wine.
Okay.
So
Alright.
second is the sense of belongingness. So they found out that the denomination doesn't seem to matter. Research shows that attending faith-based services four times per month will add 4 to 14 years of life expectancy.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not just physical, but also mental and spiritual practices.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then here's another one, family first. So successful centenarians in the blue zones put their families first. This means keeping aging parents and grandparents nearby or in the home. They commit to a life partner and invest in their children with time and love. And actually, what's interesting about this is in the Bible, they mentioned this the only, I wouldn't say commandment that has the promise. So it's about honoring your parents. So for those who honor their parents, they would have longer lives. So it's
Wow.
really important to take care of our parents because it's one of the promises. It's one of the things in the Bible that has a promise. Yeah, so it's
So,
about
pero,
honoring your parents.
yeah, Doc J-Lo, di ba like the Filipino families are like that naman, family first. But why don't we have a blue zone in the Philippines?
It's our diet.
Yeah, a lot of different factors. So it's probably dietary. But if we shifted to the traditional diet, it'd probably be better because now we're more of like a standard American diet, more of westernized now. We have a lot of fast foods, and
Okay.
yeah, so it's contributing to the shorter lifespan of most Filipinos.
Okay.
So, Doc, when you say traditional diets or the standard Filipino diet, you're talking about the sinigang, the adobo.
Yeah, the nilaga, more of the stews.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I guess the quarantine helped us go back to that, di ba? In a sense.
Yeah, because no more eating out, so we ate more at home. So I guess that would have contributed to a better diet for most of us.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And then finally, there's the right tribe. So the world's longest lived people chose or were born into social circuits that supported healthy behaviors. So Okinawans created moais, or groups of 5 friends that committed to each other for life. So research from the Framingham studies show that smoking, obesity, happiness, and even loneliness are contagious. So the social networks of long-lived people have favorably shaped their health behaviors.
Wow.
So your
Wow.
group.
Good,
Interesting.
good
So,
influence.
yeah, what does it mean? Parang you have to create a circle of healthy people that you work with. Parang ganun.
Yeah, exactly.
Or surround yourself with healthier or more positive people than you.
Yun, yung mga Yoli community pala, pwede dyan ah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we will discuss the causes of aging and disease, but prior to that, let me just discuss how in biological or integrative or holistic medicine, we're treating the cause and not just the symptoms of aging.
Okay.
So one example of Signs and symptoms of aging include arthritis. So normally it's treated with anti-inflammatory drugs.
Okay.
However, a holistic treatment would involve the use of an anti-inflammatory diet. So that means more of a plant-based diet because it's anti-inflammatory nutrients. Then there are the omega-3 fatty acids or like fish oil or flaxseed oil. Then things like glucosamine and collagen has been used for the treatment of arthritis. Then hypertension, again, it's not a disease, but it's a symptom. So normally it's treated with antihypertensives. These are just medications that lower your blood pressure. However, if you stop taking your blood pressure medications, then your blood pressure goes up again. And the reason for this is because we're not treating the underlying causes. And that may include stress. So it's important to reduce stress through different ways like deep breathing, taking adaptogens like ginseng or ashwagandha or rhodiola. Another cause of hypertension could be heavy metals like lead or mercury. So the treatment for that is called chelation or anionic surfactant therapy. Okay. Then for those who are nutrient deficient, like if you're low in magnesium or potassium, those could actually lead to high blood pressure. So if you treat the underlying causes, then you don't have to have high blood pressure the rest of your life. You don't have to take maintenance medications indefinitely. So that's why you need to treat the underlying causes.
Magnesium and potassium, Doc.
Yeah.
Magnesium.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's also the issue of wrinkles that's common as we age. So normally it's treated with Botox or fillers, but you know, wrinkles may be caused by too much sugar in our diet. So it could be caused by this, what we call an advanced glycosylation end products or AGE. So this could be prevented with the use of carnosine, which is a nutrient that would help with this glycation. Vitamin C also helps in the production of collagen, as well as L-lysine and L-proline. And then, of course, certain collagen supplements would also be helpful with wrinkles.
Are there natural sources of carnitine, Doc?
Yeah, there are actually bovine sources of this collagen. Yeah, I haven't heard of any plant sources of collagen. So if a person's vegetarian, then they may just take some vitamin C or amino acids like glycine or proline. So those would be the alternatives.
So, Doc, bovine sources, those are cows, right?
Yeah.
Animals.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first supplement you mentioned, Doc? The one for wrinkles.
What's that?
You mentioned a supplement earlier for wrinkles.
Yeah, carnosine, collagen, vitamin C.
Okay. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, and then there's memory loss, and usual treatment is through medications like Aricept. But in our practice, we've found out that memory loss could sometimes be iatrogenic, meaning it could be caused by medications. The most notorious of which are the statins. These are medications for lowering cholesterol. So a common side effect of this cholesterol-lowering drugs is memory loss. So we look at that as a possible underlying cause of memory loss. Then there's also hormonal imbalances. If your pregnenolone level is low, or if you have too much cortisol in your system from chronic stress. Poor circulation could also lead to memory loss and neurotransmitter deficiencies, primarily acetylcholine. Cancer, of course, is treated with chemo, radiation, and surgery. But a holistic treatment involves diet, which ideally has to be alkaline, anti-inflammatory, ketogenic diet. Some people or some doctors use high-dose vitamin C and other immunotherapies, such as thymus peptides. Then with autoimmune diseases, usually it's treated with steroids or chemo drugs to suppress the immune system. But in holistic medical circles, we know that autoimmune disease could be due to toxicity. So it's really important to do detox if a person has any type of autoimmune problems. Then, of course, anti-inflammatory diet and nutrients would be helpful too.
Okay.
Doc, I noticed that all the holistic treatments is like diets and detoxes
Yeah.
and loading of supplements, no?
Yeah, it requires more work, but long term, it's better because it won't damage your body like some medications would.
Doc, yung Mediterranean diet, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it's good. They use a lot of olive oil in their this Mediterranean diet, which also has an anti-inflammatory benefit.
Okay.
But they also use fish, which is a good source of the omega-3 fatty acids. So that also has anti-inflammatory benefits. So that's why the Mediterranean diet works.
Okay.
How about our virgin coconut oil, Doc? VCO.
Oh yeah, definitely. And actually, the VCO also has been used for improving your immune system because of this certain nutrients found in it, like caprylic acid and monolauric acid. And it's also good for improving your thyroid function as well as your brain, improving cognition. So for those who are suffering from memory impairment, they could actually start taking VCO. So I recommend like 2 tablespoons per day.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
so this just goes to show how different parts of the body age at different rates. So our brain starts aging at the age of 20. So we start with about 100 billion nerve cells, but in our 20s, this number begins to decline. So by 40, we could be losing up to 10,000 nerve cells per day, affecting memory, coordination, and brain function. So the gut also starts aging at 55. So a healthy gut has a good balance between harmful and friendly bacteria. But levels of friendly bacteria in the gut drop significantly after 55. And then if you take antibiotics, of course, that would mess it up like sooner than that. In fact, at the age of 30, that's when we begin using a lot of like antacids or proton pump inhibitors. This is because a lot of people may start having digestive issues at that age as well, especially in a modern society where there's a lot of fast food. Yeah. So in women, the breasts start aging at the age of 35. So it begins losing tissue and fat, reducing size and fullness. So sagging starts at 40 years old, and the areola can shrink considerably. The bladder also starts aging at 65 years old. So the bladder capacity in an older adult generally is about half that of a younger person. So that's why there's more frequent urination sometimes in older individuals, because again, the bladder capacity becomes smaller. Then our lungs begin to age beginning at 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it tells here it's partly because the muscles and the rib cage, which control breathing, begins to stiffen. And also the average man at age 30 can inhale 2 pints of air in one breath. But by 70, it's only down to 1. The voice starts aging at 65. And I've noticed this because I've been doing a lot of like virtual consultations. So I see clients basically from all over. And sometimes I don't know how young or how old a person is just based on their voices. So voices actually start aging at the age of 65. It becomes quieter and hoarser with age. So the soft tissues in the voice box weaken, affecting the pitch, loudness, and quality of the voice. Then in a woman, it becomes huskier and lower in pitch, whereas a man's might become thinner and higher. Again, because of an imbalance in hormones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I start aging at 40, which is what I hear from most people.
Yeah.
So when they reach 40, yun, lumalabo na yung mata nila.
Na nga, Dok, hindi ko na nga mabasa yung slide. When I turn 40. See, dito.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so does the heart at age 40.
So that's why there's a lot of heart ailment.
Yeah, it's around that age.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the liver start aging at 70. So the liver is one of the more versatile organs in the body. So it could tolerate a lot of like damage. That's how regenerative our livers are. So it really doesn't age till you're about 70. But if you abuse it, like if you drink a lot of alcohol or take a lot of medications, you'll make your liver age sooner than that.
Doc, I have a related question to that. Siyempre, with this pandemic, diba, we do a lot of alcohol on our hands. Does it affect the liver even if you don't take it in your mouth?
Yeah, actually, alcohol could actually damage the liver. It does so by depleting the body of this substance called glutathione. So glutathione is produced in the liver, and it's a natural antioxidant. So if we deplete our glutathione levels by drinking alcohol regularly, then our aging would become faster or more premature. Then, of course, if you do drink alcohol, it could actually turn into sugar, and it actually could build up in the liver, causing causing fatty liver. So eating a lot of sugar could also contribute to an unhealthy liver.
No, I think the question of Anton was yung alcohol mismo, when you spray it on your hands, when you're disinfecting yourself, will it affect your liver? Or is that
that would probably just affect more of the local area where you apply it to. Unless you use a lot of it, it'll absorb into your system. Pero, yeah, usually it would affect the microbiome, which is the natural ecology, the natural bacteria found in your skin if you use alcohol quite a bit as a disinfectant.
Before you proceed, Doc, we have some comments lang from Giselle. She wanted to say, I'm learning a lot from you, Doc. Feel like awakening for me, and it's probably the best time for a change. Maybe a bit scared of the realizations right now, but better late than never. Of course. Thank you. And then we have a question from Andrew. What about stingless bee honey? Is that any...
Which one?
Stingless bee honey.
Bee? Stingless.
Bee honey.
Oh, honey. Yeah, so yeah, honey has a lot of benefits. The one that's natural, unfiltered, has more benefits. It's like good for allergies. It's also good for your immune system. But for those who have blood sugar problems, I may not recommend honey.
Honey.
I may use an alternative like stevia as a natural sweetener.
No, but Doc, stingless bee honey, have you tried the one that actually tastes like sampalok? It's a so it's a dark honey, and it tastes like it's sampalok. So I think he was actually talking about that one. We'll send you some, Doc.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, next.
Yeah, and then the kidney starts to age at 50 years old. So The number of filtering units that remove waste from the bloodstream starts to reduce in middle age. So the kidneys of a 75-year-old person will filter only half the amount of blood that the 30-year-olds will. So we got to take care of our kidneys.
Yes.
The prostate, again, in aging men, begins to decline or age at 50 years old. So that's when you start experiencing different things like nocturia, which is frequency in urination at night, hesitancy, and or problems straining when you try to pee. This is because among all the organs in the body, it's only the prostate that enlarges as men age. Okay. Taste and smell, they also start aging at 60 years old. So we start out in life with about 10,000 taste buds scattered on the tongue. This number can have later in life. After we turn 60, taste and smell gradually decline, partly as a result of the normal aging process.
Wow, it's a bit sad.
Then teeth start aging at 40, but we see this happen in younger individuals nowadays because of all the refined foods that we tend to eat. But in people who live in like remote areas, their teeth may start aging at later in life. Okay, then muscles start aging at 30. So it's a process called sarcopenia. So, well, how can you prevent this? You can prevent this through regular exercise. So if you don't do anything, we just lose muscle mass. And yeah, it's not a good picture if we don't do any exercise. Hearing starts aging at the mid-50s. And this is why a lot of older folks sometimes have difficulty hearing, or they end up using like hearing aids. And then hair starts aging at 30 years old. And probably younger now, especially in those who eat a lot of refined foods and are not getting enough nutrients from their diet, especially zinc, the mineral zinc. Skin starts aging in the mid-20s. Fertility starts aging at 35, and then bones start aging at 35. This just tells you all the skin changes. So loss of volume, loss of elasticity, loss of moistness and thickness, appearance of wrinkles and folds, and pigmented spots, etc. So these are important locations of the process of aging in different types of people. So in a runner, for instance, the joints may age faster than the rest of the population. For the movie stars, their skin may age faster because of exposure to all the lights. And then in a scientist, their brain may age faster.
Because of use?
Yes, and probably not getting enough nutrients.
Okay.
So these are the causes of aging. Let's begin with the first one. It's called the free radical theory of aging. So what are free radicals? Basically, they're unstable molecules. And like it says here, these are like rubbers which are deficient in energy. So they snatch energy from other cells to satisfy themselves. In the process, they damage your normal cells.
Okay.
So where do you get free radicals? You could get it from too much exposure to sunlight or UV light. Also air pollution, ionizing radiation, like from too much X-rays, and even antennas from a very controversial topic nowadays. Smoking could also do that. Also, the normal process of metabolism could also cause formation of free radicals. Inflammation could do the same thing. They could all cause DNA damage and problems like tumors eventually. Even the single act of breathing, like when we're breathing, we actually could generate free radicals. So it's really important that we take antioxidants to quell these free radicals. So these are the sources of your free radicals, and it could eventually cause things like conditions like cancer, premature aging, heart attack, diabetes, dermatitis, and other health complications. So if you really want to be proactive, you want to know your antioxidant levels.
And how do we do that, Doc? The antioxidant levels by testing?
Yeah, there are functional tests available nowadays, but we also can do some other tests in office to find out what your antioxidant levels are. Yeah, so the lower your antioxidant levels, the faster the aging process would be. So for those who are really conscious about how they look or how they feel, they have to take antioxidants. Ideally, it should come from our food, but because our food is not that nutrient dense anymore as it used to, it's now even more important to supplement with good nutrients. So basically, reputable companies. Because actually, have you heard of the Consumer Report studies in the States? So they did studies on different supplements that were sold in places like Walgreens, Costco, and places like that. So they found out that at least 75% of those supplements that were sold actually were not that great. It may not contain the what's on the labels, so it's best to get it from a reputable company.
Like Yoli. So Doc, just wanted to talk about this for just quickly because you said about free radicals. You've tried this product already, right, Doc? It's called the Defend. Wait, let me
Yes, I have. Yes.
There you go. So aside from supporting the healthy immune system, it helps neutralize the free radicals. So it's now available in the Philippines, Doc.
Wow.
With Yoli, and it's loaded with let me just read it. So you can get your feedback on this. It has colostrum, holy basil leaf extract, maitake mushroom, astragalus root, turmeric root, bee propolis extract, papaya fruit extract, echinacea leaf.
Echinacea.
Okay, all right. And then shiitake mushroom, and then there's like a number of mushrooms in here: reishi mushroom, enokitake mushroom, and shirohitake mushroom. Sounds really Japanese. Maybe everything comes from Okinawa. Maybe that's why the blue zone is over there. So it's now available, Doc. You've been ordering this before in the States, no?
Okay.
All right.
So
Good.
the second would be the neuroendocrine theory of aging. So basically, as we age, our hormones begin to decline. So among these hormones include the growth hormone, melatonin. Then in men, primarily testosterone begins to decline. In women, it's the estrogen, progesterone that also declines as they enter into menopause. Then other hormones like DHEA and the thyroid also decline. So this just shows you how certain hormones begin to decline at certain periods of one's life. Like, for instance, estrogen and progesterone, they begin declining in women when they enter their perimenopausal age, like usually in the 40s, but sometimes younger than that. In men, the testosterone decline is more gradual. It's not like sudden as what you see in women when they enter menopause. For men, the decline of testosterone is slow, more gradual. So that's why sometimes men don't notice the changes. And sometimes the first symptom of a testosterone deficiency is a heart attack in men. And I think we discussed that last week.
So when do you have yourself tested, Doc?
Yeah, ideally, I recommend that people have themselves tested by the age of 40. But if a person has chronic degenerative diseases, let's say they have issues with like diabetes, then it's best to have their hormones tested earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. Melatonin usually the decline begins at the age of 40. So these are the hormonal changes associated with aging. So hormones that build tissues and improve immunity, they decline with age by 50 to 80%. So these hormones include DHEA, which is an adrenal hormone, testosterone, and growth hormone. So they're important for immunity as well. In women, progesterone begins to decline at age 30. So that's why women begin to experience like symptoms like weight gain, depression, water retention, and sometimes anxiety from an earlier decline or decrease in progesterone. Estrogen begins usually at the age of 50 when women start experiencing hot flashes or night sweats. But you see this in women who experience like surgical menopause. Thyroid hormone production and sensitivity begin to decline uh, at a certain age, but sometimes you see it in younger people who are having issues like weight gain, constipation, cold intolerance. These are people who may have underlying thyroid problems. Then insulin output also declines, leading to diabetes. So by age 50, we've already had 20 years of hormonal imbalances. So it actually begins in the 30s. So this just goes to show how certain hormones begin to decline in women. And again, it shows here like in the like around 35, that's when perimenopause begins in women. And then here in guys, so male testosterone begins to decline after the age of 20 by 1 to 1.5% per year, or that's 10% per decade. I did show you guys this diagram before. So
Yeah.
a lot of these hormones, like the sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, are all derived from cholesterol. So that's
Mm.
why it's really important to have healthy cholesterol levels. Cholesterol is not all bad. We actually need it for certain processes in the body. This pregnenolone is important for memory. So people who take cholesterol lowering drugs sometimes experience memory loss because the production of this hormone also is affected.
It's affected. And Doc, there's a related question from Wilburn. Is memory loss a natural part of aging? How much is normal?
That's a good question. Again, with memory, yeah, we all definitely need to pay more attention to it because sometimes we don't notice that it's already affected until other people tell us that we're having some memory issues. Some degree of memory loss may be normal, like let's say misplacing keys and all that. But if it becomes persistent and it actually affects with your daily function, then that's when it becomes a real issue. And now there are different ways to help improve memory besides using like crossword puzzles and things like that. There are nutrients that would actually help with improving memory, such as the omega-3 fatty acids, the MCT oils from the coconut oil from coconuts, things like the B complex, and things to help improve your acetylcholine levels. So there are a lot of things that you could do to actually help maintain or even improve your memory.
What do you call those levels again, Doc?
Uh, levels of what?
The last you said that you have to maintain levels of something
Oh yeah,
just now.
well, you have to have a good like this level of pregnenolone. It's a hormone that's really important for memory. It also has an anti-inflammatory benefits. So yeah, knowing your levels of pregnenolone is really important. So this is something that could be tested when you do a comprehensive hormone panel.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Magkano
the
yan, Doc?
thing you think about when a person has some issues with memory is look at what they're taking, like what medications they're taking. Because again, one of the most common causes of memory loss is the intake of certain drugs, certain medications.
Okay.
So growth hormone, again, we know that this is important for growth and development in kids, but for adults, it's actually important for regeneration and repair. This is why we notice as we age that it's harder to recuperate from illness. Or if a person has a wound, it takes a longer time to heal because the levels of growth hormone is actually
Really
lower.
low.
Yeah, so you want to raise your levels. There are different ways that you could do this, including exercise. So again, it's something that you could do for free to improve your growth hormone levels. Certain amino acids like citrulline and arginine actually helps with growth hormone. Then if these don't work, especially after at the age of 50 and above, we may recommend peptides or growth hormone, but it has to be administered properly under the guidance of a doctor who's trained in longevity or regenerative medicine, because there are side effects if you do these things without supervision.
Like what kind of side effects?
Yeah, sometimes it could lead to blood sugar problems, but there's also a condition called acromegaly, where soft tissues begin to increase in size. Like you see this in it's a James Bond movie. I think it's a Russian guy. He was like 8 or 9 feet tall. He actually had a case of acromegaly, but he had a tumor that was causing the release of growth hormone. Yeah,
Okay.
You
but
become
that's
gigantic, doc. Tama ba? You become gigantic.
well, if your what do you call this, epiphyses are still open, then kids could grow a lot taller. But if you're an adult and you're getting too much growth hormone, then it could lead to problems like acromegaly. That's why we don't recommend pharmacologic doses. We only recommend physiologic doses.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the symptoms of an overactive and an underactive thyroid. We see more of people with underactive thyroid, so that's why we see a lot of people with problems with weight gain or obesity. But other things like depressed mood, constipation, hair loss, um, slow heart rate, these are symptoms of hypo or a sluggish thyroid. The third theory behind aging is the cross-linking or glycation theory, which I mentioned briefly earlier. So if a person eats too much sugar, it would actually affect the certain proteins in the body, like for instance, collagen in the skin. So that's why it could lead to wrinkles if you eat too much sugar. When this sugar combines with the lens of the eye, it could lead to cataracts. Okay, it's otherwise known as ages or advanced glycosylation end products. So it's really important to watch our sugar intake. So this is just a picture of how a sugar molecule when binding to collagen causes more problem, causes our skin to age, which causes the appearance of wrinkles. So this is an example of sugar combining with the protein in the eye causing cataracts.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, there's the acidification theory. So too much acid, which we get from our food. Stress could also do that. That would also enhance the aging process. There's this Hayflick limit theory, which tells that our cells divide only at a certain number. After that, it's all downhill. And then there's the telomerase theory of aging. So telomeres are the end part of our DNA, of our chromosomes. So after it reaches a certain point, it would stop dividing. So that signals that a person may not be regenerating anymore. And there are things that would help with this, including something that I mentioned earlier. It's the resveratrol. So
Doc,
that's
may
something
question.
that comes from red wine.
May question si Wilburn ulit. Do sleep needs change as we age?
Yeah, the length of our sleep actually begins to decline because our pineal glands basically decreases the production of melatonin. That's why older folks sometimes only have like 3 to 4 hours of sleep. And this is because of the less production of melatonin, which again could be affected by light. So if there's light in the bedroom, any form of artificial light, and too much of the EMF gadgets, like having your cell phones or your Wi-Fi in the bedroom, that would actually affect the production and release of melatonin.
So, Doc, do siestas count? The naps in the afternoon, do they count? Because
They
we
would
have
actually be they're actually helpful, having naps in the afternoon.
okay.
But it's still important to have a good quality of sleep at night.
And for older people, okay lang na lesser time?
No. Ideally, they should have at least, well, everybody should have at least a minimum of 7.5 hours of sleep per night. So if a person having trouble sleeping, then they could try taking supplements such as melatonin or L-theanine or even magnesium taken before bedtime. These are things that would help improve sleep.
Okay.
Finally, this last few slides tells you how different medications could actually deplete the body of certain nutrients. Like, for instance, the antibiotics, such as the penicillins, cephalosporins, could actually deplete the body of vitamin B and K, leading to problems with nerve function, among others. Cholesterol drugs such as Lipitor could deplete the body of coenzyme Q10, and that could lead to fatigue or low energy, a weak immune system, and various cardiovascular problems. Then these hormones, anticonvulsants, even anti-inflammatory drugs, which is being quite commonly used, could actually deplete the body of calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, vitamin C, B6, B12, folic acid, selenium, chromium. So a lot of these medications deplete the body of nutrients. So once you're depleted of these nutrients, you may become symptomatic. And what happens is that these symptoms are treated with more medications. So it becomes a vicious cycle. So it's really important to know what nutrients are depleted when you take certain drugs, so you could actually replace them and prevent side effects.
All right.
Okay, and I think that ends our healthy aging talk for this afternoon.
So essentially, in summary, I guess what I got from that is sugar is really a big enemy for aging. So as you grow old, I guess don't eat a lot of sugar aside from diabetes, in the wrinkles, etc. And you said, Doc, free radicals.
Yeah, the taking of
Antioxidants.
antioxidants,
Yes,
Um,
antioxidants,
like
nutrition,
antioxidant.
and
and then
nutrition.
hormone balance is very important. And then probably last would be ano ba yung naisip ko? Eating natural, no? Kasi because a lot of these medicines or external products really hinder a lot of our hormones or the natural processes of the body. No?
Mm-hmm.
Ikaw dito, anong naano mo?
Actually, for me, yung the table with all the with when the brain starts to age, the gut starts to age, the bladder, the liver, all that. I think that's the ideal, ano, no, doc. That's the ideal age where when the brain starts aging. But then, because of the lack of antioxidants or proper nutrition, and then the proper supplementation, it starts to age or even decline. No, tama ba, doc?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Um,
actually, a lot of younger guys are you see a lot of wrinkles in them already. And it's not because they're the same age as us. Si
oh.
Doc doesn't look like he's in his um ano, what are you, Doc?
Hindi pwede, hindi
Doc
pwede.
looks younger than me. Biological age mo, Doc? Ano ba biological age mo? Siguro mga 35 ka lang.
Younger naman. Well, because
No,
I
but you
have
know what?
tested. We could have
I
it tested
remember.
in the office.
Right, right. So I remember taking my biological age once before. Parang, I think I was 35 when I had my heart attack, and then my biological age was taken. I think during that time I was already na 60, 65,
Mm-hmm.
68.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually reverse that, no, Doc?
Yes, you can. You can reverse
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You're looking
Yeah.
younger too.
All right. Let's take a photo lang for this ano. Okay, one, two. One more. Sorry. One, two. All right. So, thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Doc.
Maybe last question for me lang. If someone would want to be proactive about aging, so what you said was you can have your hormones tested, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
And the antioxidants level. And at least from there, you can figure out how to be proactive with your, or have a healthy aging, correct?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So, and where do you get that? In hospitals, or of course from you, or is there a specific doctor that handles that?
Yeah, well, someone who has certified or trained in anti-aging or regenerative medicine, ideally.
Hmm. Are there a lot of those in the Philippines?
Not so much, but there are some.
There are some also.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Where can they get in touch with you, Doc JLo, in case they have more questions?
Yeah, if you have any questions, you could just check out my website at jlopezmd.com, or you may check out my YouTube channel at Dr. J. Lopez MD. Thank you,
All
guys.
right. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Dito.
you, Doc.
Thank you.